We're about to begin the funeral service. We ask if you have a cell phone or pager, if you could turn it to the silent mode. Officiating is Rabbi Mendy Goldstein. Talking to my So we'll say a blessing. Tear the ribbon. The ribbons are hand through. We'll say a blessing. This is hand tearable and the ribbon is hand tearable. Yeah. All right, we're going to be seated. Straighten it out. Okay.
Good morning. Condolences to the entire family. Wendy, Alex, Julia, James, together with friends and extended family. When in pain and in sorrow, we turn to the book of Psalms written by King David. King David went through extreme difficult times. When faced with challenge, he would talk to God, and he wrote the book of Psalms. We now look at the chapter 23 of Psalms. I'll first read it in Hebrew, followed in English. Mizmar LaDavid, Adonai Yidai Yachsa, B'nei Yabitzeini, Al Mei Menuchai, Yinahaleini, Nafshi Yeshevev Yancheni, B'magam Leitzadek L'man Shemai, Gam Ki Yelech, V'geit HaMaves, Lo Irara, Ki Ata Imadi, Shiftecha Mishantecha, Hema Yinachamuni, Tarech Lefanei Shulchan Neged, Seididai Dishanda Vashem Reishi, Kaisi Devaya, Achtei V'chesi Yedefuni, Kol Yemei Chayai V'Shavti B'Veis Adonai Li'Arach Yamim. A song of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He causes me to lie down in green pastures. He leads me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leads me in paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Even as I walk in the valley of the shadow of death, I will not fear no evil. For you are with me, your rod and your staff, they comfort me. You set a table before me in the presence of my adversaries. You anointed my head with oil, my cup overflows. May only goodness and kindness pursue me in all my days, in all my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord for the length of days. We are gathered here today with broken hearts to honor and to remember Casey, Kevin, a young soul taken from us too soon. His passing leaves us in silence as we struggle to find the words to express our grief. In moments like this, we turn to the Torah, where we find similar responses from Aaron HaKohen, the high priest, when two of his sons passed away. The Torah tells us, Vayidom Aaron, and Aaron was silent. Sometimes there are no words. When a tragedy like this befalls on us, there's sorrow, there's pain, and there's no words that could bring us comfort other than sitting in silence. Today, too, we are silent and deeply saddened by the passing of Casey. Today, in the lunar cycle and the Jewish calendar, today is known as Rosh Chodesh, which means the beginning of the new month. Just a few days ago, there was no moon to be seen. There was darkness. There was darkness in the sky, and there was darkness for friends and family here as Casey was taken away. But today is Rosh Chodesh. Today we begin a new month where we start seeing the light of the moon. So as we gather today on Rosh Chodesh, we're reminded of the famous Talmudic teaching, Mishenichnas Adar Marbin Besimcha. When the month of Adar begins, we increase in joy. This month is one of the happiest months. Yet we are met with sorrow today. However, the deeper message of Adar is resilience. The story of Purim, the holiday of Purim, teaches us that even in darkness, even in the darkest times, light can emerge and hope is never lost. Casey, with his joyful spirit, embodied this idea, bringing happiness to others, even in moments of hardship. One thing everyone says about Casey is that he was the sweetest person that ever met. His smile could light up a room, and his presence made people feel seen, valued, and loved. He had an incredible way of making others feel special, always ensuring that no one left out or is overlooked. Even from a very young age, he was sensitive to the emotions of those around him. At a birthday party, Wendy recalls when he was 10 or 11 years old, he received a present and he exclaimed, "Oh my gosh, thank you so much." And then whispers to his mom, "What is this?" It didn't matter what he received. His gratitude and appreciation were genuine and deeply felt. Casey's heart was immense. He was always grateful, always expressing how blessed he was to be part of his family. His mother, Wendy, would hear it often, how he would light up at the sight of her and exclaim, "Mama, I'm so excited. I'm so happy. You're my mom, and I'm part of this family." He loved people. He truly loved them, and that love was returned by all those who knew him. He was a thinker, a questioner, a seeker of knowledge. He loved learning about the weather, chasing storms, and the wonders of nature. He had a curious mind that found beauty in the world, whether it was through growing plants, playing music, or immersing himself in hockey. He was a talented goalie, and in recent times, one of his cousins recalled that how they went ice skating together, and he was filled with much happiness and joy. Wendy remembers how one day she heard someone playing the piano so beautifully. She was shocked to find out that it was Casey playing. She asked him, "How did you learn how to play the piano?" He responds, "Oh, I looked it up on YouTube." His sensitivity to the world extended beyond his own experiences. He couldn't understand the cruelty, couldn't fathom how people could do bad things. His heart was pure, and when he saw things being wrong, it was truly troubling to him. Casey was truly a special soul. deeply compassionate, understanding person, someone who carried the burden of others because he felt it so deeply. While we grieve, let us celebrate the light that Casey brought into this world. Let us remember his laughter, his kindness, his curiosity, and the love he so freely gave. Let us hold on to the lessons he taught us about gratitude, about compassion, and embracing the beauty of life. What now? What can we do? We, his friends and family, can do something tangible in the merit of his soul by performing acts of goodness and kindness, by being more compassionate, by carrying forward his warmth and generosity. One of the greatest ways we honor Casey's memory is through performing mitzvot, good deeds, in his merit, whether it's giving charity, helping a friend in need, or adding another mitzvah to our daily lives. Each act of kindness serves as a tribute to his beautiful soul. In doing so, we ensure that Casey's legacy of love and light continues to shine in this world. May his soul be bound in bonds of eternal life. May his memory be a blessing for all. Now I'm going to ask Sister Julia to share a few words.
Hello. I don't know.
Alex is pointing out that today is Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of a new month, and Casey's Hebrew birthday falls out on Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, right?
Hello, everyone. Long time no see. Yes, I don't want to look at you guys. Sorry. I didn't write anything because I couldn't really think, but I have some spark notes. I just wanted to thank everyone for coming here because you would be elated that everyone was together and being nice to each other. I wanted to share some stories because I googled how to write a eulogy and they said humor always helps. And while these stories aren't very appropriate, it shows Casey and how he was, and they're my favorite stories. The first one I would like to start off with is how one time when we were in church, and Casey and I were fighting, and Alex was in his Bible study group thing, and I started running away from him screaming. And he chased me throughout the church, making the sign of the cross, screaming, "The power of Christ compels you." And then another story that's not very appropriate either, but he was always just quick-witted and everything. We were celebrating Easter, and my mom hides everything. No? Okay. Sorry. Too inappropriate. Anyway. He was a very skilled and talented kid. Somehow he always ended up in Alex's shirts. That was a very good special skill of his. Or how all of the dishes ended up in his room. But actual skills, anything he wanted to do, if he really wanted to do it, he could. And how he had all of the neighborhood kids coming over to buy modded controllers. And how he taught himself how to play piano and everything. Yeah. And how he loved being in Santa Monica because he could do whatever and no one would judge him for it. And he had like a little photo shoot at the mall. Anyway, he's just the sweetest kid. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. Sorry. Thank you.
Wendy? I'm now going to hear from Wendy.
I apologize if my voice goes out, but I'll try. Thank you all for coming. He would be very thrilled to see everyone here. But I wrote this on the way here, and then I remembered how much he loved Superman. He was Superman 3 years in a row for Halloween, and even as an adult, he wore Superman shirts. And it just occurred to me, he was a Superman. He was awesome. He wasn't like anybody else. My Casey Daisy Doo-Dah-Day. I always said you were my sweetest child. I know it was difficult for you to understand this world. Your kind heart and gentle soul may have made your life difficult, but was a gift, not only to me, but to all those who crossed your path. I was in awe of your open heart and forgiving nature. I will miss your bright, big smile and your deeply felt warm hugs. I will miss you calling me to make sure I was okay. I will miss hearing, Mama, whenever I come home. I will miss that you are the one person who, no matter what I did, thought I was the best mama ever. Every day you were grateful, telling the people in your life, not just keeping it to yourself. In the later years, you became very spiritual, finding comfort in connecting with God. You loved rocks and minerals because you felt that it helped connect you through nature to God. You were starting to learn from Alex about Judaism, which brought you even closer to God. The night before you left us, we were making plans for your future. You were the happiest I have seen you in a while. You wanted to share any good fortune you had with anyone close to you. I am imagining you jogging downtown Downers, as you like to do, to clear your head. You were in your own world, where you were a lot. I didn't worry too much about you because with all that happened in your life in the last 10 years, there was no doubt in my mind that God always was watching over you and protecting you. That is why I was so shocked. I yelled out to God. I thought he had a purpose to fulfill. I thought you were going to protect him. Over the last couple of days of reflection, I believe that, Casey, you did fulfill your purpose. You brought light to everyone you met, and you taught me how to be patient and more understanding. You taught me how to make boundaries to protect myself, and you taught me there is nothing like the love of a child. Your pure heart and beautiful soul had a mission, and you completed it. You left me with wonderful memories and taught me so much, and I hope others have learned from you as well. I will miss the deep spiritual discussions we had. I will miss you making fires so we could make s'mores. But most of all, you'll be in my heart. No matter what they say, you'll be here in my heart, always.
Hello everybody. I didn't really write anything because I didn't think I would be able to speak, but basically I just wanted to talk about what an interesting person he was. Some of you may be wondering why we went with a Jewish funeral. Well, it was important to me, but also after Uncle Skip passed away, I was talking to him about it, and I said it was very, if I pass away, I want to make sure I have a proper Jewish burial. And we discussed everything, and he said, yeah, that's what I want too. I don't know if, how he is, but I don't know if it was so much the merits of the Jewishness of the burial or the fact that he just wanted to be buried next to family, or both, but I will say he put on tefillin, which are also known as phylacteries, leather binding on the arm. So there's that, and he planned on pursuing Judaic endeavors. And he's like, I gave him a list of Jewish names to possibly go through, and he reads the first one, Abba, and he's like, oh, I'll take that. And I'm like, Casey, that means father. Do you want to maybe read the rest of them? And then he went with Ariel, which is Lion of God, or Lion of God, Ariel ben Avraham. So there, like Julia mentioned earlier, he did his controller modding, which people are doing today and making large amounts of money off of it with the advances in technology. And he was only 12 years old when he was doing this, like soldering circuits into controllers so he could play video games better. And then at one point he was, okay, thank you. At one point he, you can stand here, it's fine, it's just don't say anything. He had a secret tomato garden in the basement that nobody knew about. That was in the corner for a couple months, and the first 2 harvests were okay, and then the third one was very impressive. And then he left the door open, and my mom smelled the very pungent tomatoes and immediately ceased that operation. So, and at that point, I think he was 13. So the point is, he was very capable when he wanted to be, especially if he found something interesting. And I bring all that as a precursor to some of the things he would say. He would go on rants about a lot of things, and some of the things would just be like, all right, yeah. But I believe he was really connected to the spiritual world, if you will, because there were times where he would be talking, and I would be kind of half listening because he would just go on and on and on, and then I can't remember exactly what the topic was, but he said something that I was studying in Kabbalah, which is Jewish mysticism. It's very complex, and I didn't really even understand it. And I wish I could remember, but he basically explained what I had read without reading it or knowing anything about it prior. And I said, how did you know that? Where'd you read that from? He's like, no, I have a feeling that's how it is. And I was kind of shocked because it was, I don't know how he knew that stuff. But he was very connected to Hashem, to God, and he was, I'll finish up with saying he was probably the sweetest, most forgiving person that I met, because he would talk about, one day I want to do this with me, you, mom, dad, this. He would start listing people, and then he would list people that were even mean to him. And I'd say, Casey, why would you want them coming? They're not very, they're not very nice, or they don't really mean it, or they don't mean that truly. They have a good soul. And I would be like, all right, whatever. But he's right. He was just a very good, loving, caring person. And I'll miss him. Thank you.
Alex, I wanted to share some memories with you and I and Casey.
Speak to Joe first.
He was the only person in history to 15-0 me on Halo.
I think Joe's.
He was also really, really awesome at like hockey and fireworks and basketball. We used to play football all the time, passing in our front yard. just as much a brother to me as he was you.
Amazing.
I love your little brother. And I'm sorry I wasn't there for him as much as I should have been.
Thank you, Ryan. Now I'm going to ask family friend Jill to come share a few words. Oh.
Good morning. Kind of just wrote a few things down. Most of you know who I am, Aunt Jill. Casey has always been a loving soul and a kind, sweet person. When he was a baby, we just connected. I remember one particular day when Casey was crying as a baby, and I asked if I could hold him, and he stopped crying. From then on, I know we had a bond. Casey has always appreciated everything he's got. He always had the biggest smile. Wendy and I were just discussing how Casey was able to forgive easily. He was able to show people how much they were loved. Casey and I would discuss religion and how to stay on a positive path. I would reiterate that what Wendy would say, and he'd agree. He had his struggles like everyone else, but he kept trying and staying on his path. He never gave up. Casey loved his family so much. You could see when he talked about them, how much he cared about them. So sorry. They were his whole world, especially Mama. Casey and I had a special relationship. I was always able to connect with him in a different way because we were so alike. Sometimes it was hard for him to sort his thoughts out, and I was able to fill the gaps. I can still hear the joy in his voice when he called me his other mom. It was such an honor to help him on his journey. Casey will be greatly missed. He touched so many lives. Being sad for ourselves is normal, but that is probably not what Casey wants. Let's learn from him. Let's be more like him. Let's smile more, forgive more, be grateful for everything, and just be happy. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
What? Yeah, first cover up.
Okay. Okay. As Casey goes to the eternal place, we have our hearts and souls are connected to the Holy Land of Israel. Near the Holy Temple, we have sand and earth from the Holy Land of Israel, from Mount Olives. So we'll ask the family to come pour some of it in. Yeah.
You're right, man.
Kaddish?
Yeah, Kaddish is not the regular. It's
Yeah.
Kaddish.
Is that his first?
No, Kaddish is Kaddish.
Say a chapter of Psalms followed by Mourner's Kaddish. And that's it. Here, tell him. Here, thanks then. המלך יעננו ויראים קרינו. Read it. Kaddish is now going to be recited.
Skadal Viskadash Shmei Rabba. Omad Viach Yusei V'Amlich Machusei V'Chaye Chona V'Mechona V'Chaye Dechol Beis Yisrael V'Galav Zman Karev V'Imru Amen. Yesh Shmei Rabba Mevarach L'Olam L'Mei Omaya Yizbarach V'Yishtabach V'Yispoha V'Samam V'Snansei V'Yisadav V'Salev V'Salol Shmei Diketshah B'Yichu Le'ela Mekabachasa V'Shirasa D'Shbechasa V'Rechamasa Tamiram B'Alma V'Imru Amen. Yesh Shalom Rabba Ben Shemai V'Chaim Elenu V'Akol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. Osa Shalom B'Mramav Hu Yasa Shalom Aleinu V'Akol Yisrael V'Imru Amen. This concludes the service. Say, if we could form an aisleway of friends and extended family facing each other of 2 rows leading away from the grave, and the immediate mourners will walk through. It's tradition. We offer the family the traditional words of condolences. So if we can form an aisleway over here on the road, we'll follow the rabbi. He'll show you what to do. And then we'll have the 4 immediate mourners walk through. So ladies and gentlemen, if we can all come this way, form an aisleway for the immediate mourners to walk through. What we're going to do is we're going to walk right between them and they offer traditional words of condolences. We'll come this way. Me, Julia, Alex, and
I know, seriously. I should.
this concludes the service. May we turn to your cars. What? It's Shabbat.